Hello and welcome back, and congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, it was a long race.
Yeah, a campaign, I understand why they call them campaigns. They are.
Okay, and you won pretty good. You had about a 5-point spread.
Yeah, probably about 6.5, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too good at math. Okay, I did have 6 written down here. I think when I first looked at it,
Yeah.
I thought maybe it's 5 or so. So that was pretty good. You know, I have a question. You know, we can go into other things as well. But when you're campaigning, you know, a lot of people see you only at, say, the debatey type formats. You know, when you're in a big group, like this TSPN videotaped up country and maybe
Sure.
the Jackson. How is that different from the one-on-one, say, when you're on a doorstep for somebody?
I think one-on-one is more personal, and people will probably go deeper into a subject. Debate sometimes it's more of almost a canned format, and it's a very short answer, and you really can't diverge from this particular answer. Or you talk to somebody one-on-one, you can talk about this answer, and then it expands, and you get more into probably details of an issue.
So, you know, and during that, since that is a process, does it open your mind up some too when people talk to you like that, or you ever
sure.
surprised what they're talking about and take things into consideration that you might not have thought of?
You know, I get out and about a lot, but sometimes you still talk to people and they come up with issues or ideas. Like one gentleman was talking about down like in San Jose area. He believes there's companies down there that would consider moving to a place like Amador County, but he says someone needs to go down there and basically make contact with them and say, hey, come on up here. I think we have some challenges on our infrastructure, and I think that needs to be worked on, like water, wastewater.
Okay.
But we need more jobs in the county. It's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Good jobs.
Okay, now, what did you find interesting about the race or some of the results that might not even be your race?
Well, in the race between DeAugustini and myself, something that's interesting is how many times people commented on it. I noticed it, other people noticed it. There'd be his sign, my sign here, then there'd be my sign, his sign, side by side. And I think a lot of people like both of us. I heard that a number of times, especially... It seems like a lot of older people, they'd say, oh, you're both good people. We like you both. And, yeah, you know, you can both put a sign there. And I've never really seen that in an election in this county to that magnitude before.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting.
Okay. So, yeah, you both are old-time names here in the county.
Not even so much, there's that, but also I think people like both of us. I mean, philosophically, I think we're probably... in different spots. Generally, I'd say there's some things him and I probably see eye to eye on. Yeah. Wild and Scenic is not one of them. I'd say we're pretty far apart in that.
Is there, you brought up Wild and Scenic. Is there anything more that the supervisors can do for the Wild and Scenic that they're already doing? Or?
You know, we've been making contacts, trying to find support. Water Agency hired a lobbyist. Amador County hired a lobbyist, and we're just trying to find other support and get more opposition. And I'm hearing that one of the people that it appeared to be a fairly strong supporter of the Wild and Scenic in Calaveras did not make past the primary. One of the supervisors there, so you know he's still in office probably till January. Will that make any difference? I don't know.
Okay, so you feel there was some price that he paid for that vote?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, and all right. How about the primary process? Okay, let's just go to it. We had a very low turnout in the whole state, and you know I tend to look at things like, well, what's different about this year than the last primary? And I find it's the primary process itself with the open primary.
I think that's part of it. I think also they look at there's no presidential race.
Sure.
The governor's race is, for all intents and purposes, appears to be over. And, you know, not saying something couldn't happen where Jerry Brown might get tarred and feathered. I don't see that hardly happening. So people didn't see a lot to come out for as far as a big high-profile races. And I think also I've seen a number of people that are really dismayed by what they're seeing in politics. They're very unhappy. They've just they're checking out. They say, no, we're sick of it. We're done. We're not going to participate.
That's what you probably get a lot of these insights or this from when you were out stumping?
Yeah, and even before I've seen that, but talking to people before, just normal course of business, and then even campaigning, I've seen that. Now, what I found really fascinating and unbelievable is Senator Leland Yee, who, I want to say March 2014, March 26th, I think, was indicted by the FBI on arms trafficking and public corruption charges, got 9% of the vote in Amador County, and 8 point something in Calaveras, and I think 10% statewide. And the indictment looks like to be a pretty strong indictment, pretty severe. They're talking, as I remember, he was trying to facilitate sales of rocket-propelled grenades, landmines, and automatic weapons.
Right.
And to get 10% of the vote statewide, that's scary.
I gave what I think the simple explanation for that kind of is a lot of people, just take their ballot, go down, and as they're going down, they say, okay, let's see, he's, save that particular one, he's Secretary of State, let's see, here's a Republican, here's a Democrat, here's a Democrat, and he was a political...
state senator.
Yeah, state senator, so that sounds good, I'll vote for him.
That's 9% of the vote, that's a lot. So 660 votes in Amador County. I mean, that shows me people either like people that are indicted for arms charges, or they're not paying attention. And I'd say it's probably the latter. They're not paying attention. They're just voting like this. And voting is a precious right, and I think it's something people should take seriously. And if you're going to vote, you ought to know who you're voting for.
No, I agree. I know I hear all the time, of course this isn't about me, but I hear a lot of times people say, go get out and vote. Everybody get out and vote. It's Tuesday, go on out and vote. And if I had, and I could say, if you're just finding out today, how about not voting and letting the people that have been paying attention, decide the race, decide the fate. Because you go out and nullify, you could very well easily nullify something that a person's given a lot of thought to. Just by, well, that sounds good.
One thing I'd like to touch on, too, is the gentleman I ran against, Mr. Daniel DiAugustini. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, he ran a very clean, good race. I mean, he went and he put his thoughts out there, and I'd say I'd like to congratulate him on running a good race. And I think it's good for the community because unlike 8 years ago when I first ran, there was a lot of dissension in the community afterwards. I haven't seen it this time. It's kind of like both people ran. I guess I was elected, and I don't see that a lot of heartburn. Angst afterwards.
That's generally what I've seen. I've come, to Amador County 27 years ago, and generally the races are, this is me, this is what I stand for, this is what I do, and most candidates do not slam the other person. They let the other person speak for themselves. So they really are very positive races in that sense that I have seen.
Generally, but not always. Yeah.
Right.
And it's probably, and it's better.
Of course, now that's the public.
DiAugustini and I have already talked to each other, and we said, let's get together and have a breakfast or lunch sometime and talk. I imagine we'll probably talk about the wild and scenic. We probably won't agree, but we'll still talk about it and look at it, and I think that'd be a good thing if we do, just as far as getting together. Okay,
so we just have maybe a minute left, and I kind of touched on it in saying that. Do you find out that, or when you are going house to house, do you hear things that maybe the public hears another thing, but then when a candidate is out, talking,
sure,
door to door,
yeah,
you're saying a lot more.
Well, there's sometimes you hear things that people say, things that are really not right at all, and you say, well, where'd that come from? And there's rumors get out there, they're not factually correct at all, and I've seen those. If we don't have much time, one thing I'd like to do, if you don't mind, I'd
Sure.
like to thank the people that supported me and voted for me. I do appreciate that, and you can always contact me. My number's in the phone book, so under Brian Oneto, if you have a question or concern, you can also call the office. And I'm always happy to talk to people and try to help them.
I'm going to say one more thing, and you can follow up with that too. You know, I live in Pine Grove. Sometimes I hear when I was out following, a lot of people say, well, how come Pine Grove's split up so much? We've got like this and that and the other thing. You know, I actually think Pine Grove, in a way, and those areas get more representation because there's 3 people that are very interested in our area.
There's some truth to that. That's kind of a chicken and egg type question. Yeah, because you have 3, basically have 3, almost 4, maybe even 4 supervisors that have some impact from what happens. So, and sometimes you have something that say it happens in maybe Ione. It's just one supervisor that's stumping for Ione. And now, as supervisors, our job is not to say, hey, I'm doing just Plymouth and the heck with the rest of the county. No, our first and foremost job is to take care of our districts, but we're also supposed to look at it as a whole county and try to treat everybody fair. That's our job.
I think you need 5 to make a decent vote or make a decent look at a subject. And so you take a county, probably divide it up into 5, and that's, is the thoughts about having why we have like 5 supervisors in quite a few counties. So, yeah.
Well, you don't want one person making a decision. A lot of times they may be going the wrong direction. You need some, if you got like 5 people, you'll get 5 different viewpoints, and you kind of look at all the different angles more thoroughly that way.
Okay. Well, once again, Brian, thank your supporters and everything, and thanks for coming by, and have a good 4 years.
Yeah, well, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks for watching TSPN. We'll see you again next time. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.